Well, let's get some more business now. Kate Moody's here with us in the studio. And Kate, we're going to start with a story right here in France and reactions to the news that France is closing down its oldest nuclear power plant.
Yeah, this has been a few years coming. One of the reactors at the Fessenheim nuclear site will be closed this weekend, the site itself by the end of June. The complex is operated by energy giant EDF, which is to receive 400 million euros in state compensation. EDF shares dropped about 0.6% on Wednesday. The French government insists that no jobs will be lost, although local officials are still skeptical about that. 75% of France's electricity is currently produced by nuclear reactors, and the goal is to reduce that to just half by 2035 as part of a broader shift towards renewable energy sources.
With this decision, we are keeping our promise. We are transforming our energy model in depth, and above all, we are supporting the French people and the territories in this transformation. We are developing renewable energy sources with the doubling of wind turbines and by multiplying photovoltaic sources by 5 within 10 years.
The aviation giant Airbus has announced plans to shed over 2,300 jobs from its defence and space unit across Europe. The steepest cuts will come in Germany, with over 800 jobs on the chopping block, followed by Spain, France with about 400, and then the UK. Airbus Defence and Space employs about 34,000 staff overall, and it makes everything from fighter planes to drones and satellites. The division brings in about 15% of the company's overall revenues, but it struggled with setbacks to its A400M military plane program and a ban on exports to Saudi Arabia. Last week, Airbus reported a net loss of 1.3 billion euros. That was mostly due to a hefty fine as it settled a bribery scandal. Let's check in on the day's trading action. Now on Wall Street, we saw the Nasdaq and S&P 500 each hitting new record highs. Shares of space tourism venture Virgin Galactic have soared 16%, while Tesla, which owns rival SpaceX, was up about 8%. That's pushing the Nasdaq up. We saw the major European indices closing higher as well. The FTSE 100 outperformed in London as inflation in the UK unexpectedly hit a 6-month high. The CAC 40 was up about 0.9%. The DAX a bit less in Frankfurt. The International Monetary Fund has warned the coronavirus outbreak is a human tragedy, but also the most pressing uncertainty facing the global economy. Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva said the Chinese economy would bounce back if the virus was contained quickly, but a long-lasting outbreak, she said, would result in a sharper and more protracted growth slowdown. Its global impact would also be amplified through more substantial supply chain disruptions and a more persistent drop in investor confidence, end quote. The IMF says the projections for economic growth remain fragile regardless of the coronavirus, with trade tensions and climate change also seen as risk factors. While German sportswear producers Puma and Adidas have become the latest brands to detail the negative effect of the coronavirus on their business, the outbreak is weighing on the fashion industry as a whole, shining a spotlight on the importance of China in the fashion supply chain and Chinese consumers in the luxury sector. Luke Schrago reports.
A message to China at the opening of Milan's Fashion Week. With the coronavirus outbreak keeping many Chinese designers and buyers away, organisers have resorted to technology to reach out to those who've stayed home. Live streaming and online access behind the scenes of the event is helping, but there are deeper concerns.
What I see is more affected, I see all the retail in China, also in Milan, because we miss a lot of consumers, especially for those small, medium brands that they count very much on China, and at the moment they have a difficulty on monthly revenues, and so they risk, they have a very, very difficult situation sometimes for cash flow.
In 20 years, Chinese consumers have gone from being worth 2% of the global luxury and fashion sectors to 38%. Using the 2003 SARS outbreak as a template, Italy's Chamber of Fashion estimates exports could decline by at least 100 million euros and by 230 million if the situation endures beyond the current quarter. Upcoming shows in Asia from houses like Chanel and Prada have been pushed back, with millions of Chinese citizens under partial or complete lockdown, leading to slowdowns or closures of production workshops there. Fears stretch beyond high fashion too. At London's Fashion Week last week, Mid-range retailers, which rely far more heavily on Chinese production, indicated new lines could be severely delayed, with major implications for a high street sector that's still struggling after a bleak Christmas period.
That's all for now, Laura.
Some interesting looks there.
Yes, I'm not sure how much of that is a fashion statement and how much is a health precaution.
Okay, all right. We don't want to get them mixed up. All right, Kate, thank you very much indeed. Kate Moody there with the business. Let's get some sports for you.